Welcome to Reading Comprehension, Breaking Out of the Box, Part 1. We'll be going over Paragraph 1, working on the reading comprehension strategies that we use to find the main idea. So the first thing that you do when you come across an article that you're trying to read for comprehension is do a cold read. That means read it one time through just to absorb and try to figure out what's going on. So read the passage all the way through one time, pause the video, and go ahead and read this article. Okay, I believe you read the article. Did you skip the title? Come on. We're all guilty of skipping the title every once in a while, especially if we feel like we're in a hurry. So I'm going to take a guess. The title is actually so important because a lot of times the author puts the main idea in the title. So it's always good to try to read the title and look at the images and make an inference about what the text will be about. You can play a game with yourself, see if your inference is right after you read the article. So take a minute, pause the video, and read the title, Breaking Out of the Box, and look at the image and write your inference in your writer's notebook or in your Nearpod. So here's my thinking process when I look at the title. I'm looking at the words breaking out of the box. So I want to know, what does breaking out mean? Breaking out of. So really, those are probably going to be really important. And then the word box is going to be important. But right now, I don't really know what the box is. And I'm not quite sure what breaking out means, but I know that a lot of times when I say breaking out of the something, I'm talking about changing something. So I'm thinking about that kind of meaning right now. But then I look at this picture and the shipping containers on a train. In the olden days, those were called boxcars. So I'm thinking it's possible that these shipping containers are maybe the box that we're talking about. That's maybe what's happening there, and I'm just guessing because of the picture. But I put these two things together. The breaking out means something that's changing, and then the box could be a boxcar. So I'm going to infer that they're talking about using the boxcars in a different or a changed way. That's my guess. So take a moment and check your inference. Is it the same? Do you agree with me? Now I'm looking at in paragraph 1. What is the main idea in paragraph 1? And I can use the title and the image to guide my thinking. And I'm also going to think about, could this be the main idea of the whole passage? Now, sometimes authors don't put the main idea of their passage in paragraph 1. I know before 8th grade, you probably learned that it's always in paragraph 1 and it's always the first sentence. But that's not how more complicated texts are written. So before 8th grade, that probably was true. But now we have to look for the main idea. We'll look in paragraph 1 because that could be the most obvious place. But sometimes, especially in an argument, it might be in paragraph 2 or even paragraph 3. In this case, we have inferred that breaking out of the box means changing the way we use those shipping containers. So that's what we're inferring that this is about. So we're going to keep that in mind while we look at the paragraph. Shipping containers are used to haul cargo on ships, trains, and trucks. Because these trips can be rough, the containers are used for only about 5 to 10 years. Then they usually end up in a junkyard or landfill. However, these containers are durable, lightweight, and of relatively low cost. So entrepreneurs and artists are finding ways to repurpose them. There's a couple of vocabulary words in that paragraph that I want to make sure I know because it's important, especially in the first paragraph, that I really comprehend and can summarize what's happening. So I'm going to first use some of perhaps my Greek and Latin roots, or maybe connecting to other classes to figure out these vocabulary words. I kind of feel like they're important to know because they are in paragraph 1 and I'm trying to figure out the main idea. And usually the main idea is in paragraph 1. So I'm going to think about these words that kind of tripped me up because I'm not super familiar with them. And I know the word entrepreneurs. I remember that from social studies. You learned about that in your social studies class. It means like business starter, right? And then the word repurpose. If I use my Greek and Latin roots, even if I don't know the word repurpose, I know that means again, and I know purpose means to use. So I'm going to guess that maybe repurpose might mean to use again or a new use, something like that. So with that vocabulary context in my head, now I can summarize this paragraph. So I'm looking at the paragraph and summarizing it. And I came up with shipping containers have a rough life and they end up as junk after a short time. However, a signal word, notice that word, however, that's a signal word. A new thing is happening with them because artists and business people are finding new ways to use them, or different ways to use them. So that's my summary. I don't always have to write that summary down, but I have to really understand that that's what that paragraph just said. So when I look at that, I break down the different sentences to see which one could be the main idea. I know that the first sentence is the definition of a shipping container. And then the second sentence talks about how the containers are used for a short time. The third sentence tells me they end up in a junkyard or landfill because they're only used for a short time. And then the last sentence has that word, however. That's like a signal word of something, right? They're durable and lightweight and low cost, so entrepreneurs and artists are finding ways to repurpose them. And I know what the title is breaking out of the box. Does it relate to any of those sentences? Does the title relate to any of these sentences in the first paragraph? Oops, I already clicked. So yeah, I'm guessing that the very last sentence in the first paragraph, the containers are durable, lightweight, and of relatively low cost. So entrepreneurs and artists are finding new ways to repurpose them. Breaking out of the box, repurposing the shipping containers. I'm guessing that that's probably the main idea because it really ties in nicely with the title. Now, what about that other sentence, though, that they end up in a junkyard or landfill? I kind of thought that was an important sentence. Why would the author include that detail? I think it's to make me understand that reusing the shipping containers is a good thing. It's a positive thing. That's why I think the author probably included that detail. And it makes me understand why reusing them would be important too, right? So it's a supporting detail to the main idea. So that's basically the end of part 1. That was your paragraph 1. If you want to skip ahead and try your hand at the rest of the article, please do. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next installment of Breaking Out of the Box Reading Comprehension.